All right, let's finish up the basket case series here. We're gonna need to build a bigger basket. Like I said about part 2, I just wasn't a huge fan of this movie. I remember enjoying these a little bit more. And I want to stress that a movie like this, I'm the target demographic. Like, I love this shit. I love outlandish, over-the-top, silly-ass movies that throw all sorts of insanity and craziness at the screen. But I don't know why these don't work for me, these sequels. They're just too light, I suppose. And it just feels like the majority of the time they're just trying to be ridiculous with it and over the top, which, as I said, I'm the audience this is meant for. And I found myself to be bored a majority of this movie. But it's not without its things that I enjoyed. So anyway, let's get into the movie. Now, this movie starts with 6 minutes of footage from the last one and credits. So it's like 6 minutes before anything even remotely new happens. Eve, who is pregnant, turns green for some reason. I'm not sure. There's not really any reason to anything within this movie. It's just like, well, it's just because it's insane, which is fine. It's just, I was like, okay, she turns green, and then when her water breaks, it's like a flash flood. There is just pouring water out of her, like a dam has broken. And the mask work, the practical effects and stuff on the creatures or whatever the hell you want to call the freaks is just not as good in this movie as it was in the last one. I don't know if their budget was cut or what, but the mask work, like the guy with the teeth that I was talking about the last time, and they just didn't look as good. It would be funny to find out that it was the exact same masks from the first one, the exact same prosthetics and everything. But for some reason, I don't know if it was just a clearer look at them or what, but I thought they looked pretty downgraded from the last movie. I might be crazy, as I said. They might be the exact same, but it didn't look like it to me. Then we get this like inventor guy who has this coffee machine. It looks like it was built for Pee-wee's Playhouse. And we get this sing-along on the bus. You've got personality. I feel like a scene like that should be more fun than it is. But I feel like I'm watching a kid's movie in that moment, which I'm not opposed to kids' movies. I reviewed Ernest Scared Stupid on here recently, and I loved it. But the first one is so ugly and so nasty. And these are like children's movies. I feel like outside of some of the gore, I feel like I could show this to my kids and we'd sit down and be like, oh, this is cute. This is fun. This is like a freaking, yeah, as I said earlier, like a Pee-wee's Playhouse episode with some random gore thrown in. I don't know. I don't know. The tone was too uneven for me. I usually like shit like this. I keep saying that, but it's frustrating me. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just getting old. Oh my God, look at all this gray. I am. I'm getting old, man. I'm becoming that guy that's like, you damn kids with your crazy, stupid movies. I guess. I don't know. Because I remember enjoying this when I was a wee lad. I like that the bus says above the hood, across the thing, where it usually says like school bus, or the name of the school just says no one you know. The sheriff's daughter in this movie is unique and eccentric. She's talking to Dwayne, and she's like, if you told me I could love you, and I could love you if you were truthful with me, and you could they've had, yet again, here's 3 films in a row. Now, later, it kind of, I don't know, her character's so all over the place. I can't tell if she's into him or not into him or what. But this is like 3 films in a row now where they just have a forced romance for Dwayne. And that being said, I don't know if it's just me, but Dwayne, the actor, seems extra awful in this one. Like, his acting in the first one is hammy as all hell, but fun. The second one, he's like a little downgraded. In this one, I just thought he was terrible. Like, all right, I'll come and make another movie with you guys. All right, where's my lines? Like, he just seemed overly awful for me. Like, not a fun awful, like a just, I showed up to make this movie awful. I don't know. As I said, maybe it's just because I wasn't liking the movie. I know this movie has fans. Absolutely, and that's awesome. I hope you love it. But, God, I wanted to love this movie. I really did. I like that Belial has a flashback to the first movie when he's getting operated on. That makes him freak out and slash the doctor who's trying to help his girl give birth to his 12 Dalmatians. Got a little 101 Dalmatians thing going on here. One scene I found to be it was pretty entertaining, was the guy on the camera filming the birth and just the amount of shit he's saying. It focuses on him for a while as these babies are coming out, and he's coming up with rhymes and all these different sayings for each baby. You know, like 9, feeling fine, 10, blah, blah, blah. It was, I don't know, his little dialogue there was funny to me. Now, Belial's dreams, on the other hand, now this is something that I can get behind. He dreams of hot, naked women reciting Shakespeare, sucking on his fingers. I guess that's not something I'm into. Maybe just the women part. And talking about the codes of the Internal Revenue Service. That dream is so fucking random. Like, I feel like because of brain damage, maybe that was us finding out that Frank Henenlotter had done a lot of acid in his life, because that movie is like an acid trip. And maybe he wrote some of this movie on acid. That would make sense. This movie feels like somebody who took acid and was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Everything is just so random. Which is, yeah, as I said, usually is fine for me, but it just wasn't working here for me a lot of the time. I didn't hate the movie. There were things about it I enjoyed. As I said, I'll get to a couple of them. I like that they blow Eve away. I thought that was pretty awesome. They come up with a shotgun and just shoot her and blow her whole fucking chest out, and then Belial's on a rampage, and that gets me to like one of my favorite scenes in the movie, when he crushes the cop's neck, and his mouth starts to like open and rip off, and his eyes bulge and pop out of his head. That's a great effect. That's my favorite special effect in the entire film. I thought that was just the right amount of silly and over the top that would have fit. But yeah. And then the other cop has Belial dead to rights with a shotgun, and he keeps like praying with the shotgun, and he loads, and he's like kissing the bullets, and then like cocking it and holding it, and then he's pointing it at him, and he's like, oh, he's too scared, and he puts it away, and then like Belial kills him. Of course, it's a zany movie, so the characters' reactions aren't supposed to be realistic, but yeah. And you know, a little tip here. If you want to be accepted by everyone as a freak, you probably shouldn't go into a fast food restaurant and act like a bunch of fucking assholes. This is how you get people to accept you, to go into a fast food restaurant and start tearing the fucking place up. Like, oh, they don't accept us because we're freaks. No, they're not accepting you because you're a fucking asshole. Okay? Act like civilized humans, and maybe we'll give your freak ass a chance. And then we get Belial in his Ripley Aliens animatronic freaking get away from her, you bitch suit. As I said, Frank was on acid when he wrote this movie. It's why the cop, when he's coming towards him, and the machine has to be controlled by this wire that's coming right to it, this little like tube. Um, and I'm just like, either cut that thing or run away. The thing can't move very fast, so you could just like move around to the bay. As I said, throw all logic away. They're just sitting there like, why would he stay and fight? Like, what? This is so dumb and not in a fun, dumb way. I'm being repetitive. I don't like being repetitive. I did like at the end, though, when they go on Ronaldo instead of Geraldo. I thought that was cute. I'm stretching to figure out other things to talk about. I don't think I have any. This is a bummer. Anyway, so on to Frankenhooker, which I do remember really enjoying that. God, I hope that one holds up.